The word banshee and leprechaun are words I'm sure we've all heard. I've heard them on TV. You see a leprechaun on cereal boxes, movies, TV shows also. There's more to those stories than what we've, I guess, been told or we've heard. Both of these can be traced back to the 8th century. And according to the article Hidden Ireland, A Guide to Irish Fairies, a banshee can is a woman. She appears in 3 different forms: a young woman, a stately old matron, and a ratty old hag. These 3 forms represent the triple aspect of the Celtic goddess of war and death. She generally attaches herself to families whose last names have an O in them, like O'Brien, or have a Mac in them, like MacDonald. She warns the family about a death that is to come, and she does this to give them an advance warning to, schedule a funeral, prepare themselves for this loss. The deaths of these members aren't violent. They could be, but generally they're not. They're very peaceful, kind of like this person is, so old, like 100 years old, and it's just their time. And she isn't there to bring the death. She's there to warn, and she's there to kind of help them over to the other side and get there safely. This is from the article The Legend of the Irish Banshee. And this is one depiction of a banshee. Like I said before, it could be a beautiful young woman, and then it could be an old hag. The next Irish folklore I'm going to be talking about is leprechauns. I know, it's kind of a word that you kind of get sick of hearing, and you feel like you know a lot about them. But the leprechauns we know, or I guess I know, is the one on the Lucky Charms box, definitely a leprechaun. The ones that I've seen before are, they're young, kind of red hair, maybe a red beard, very tiny, kind of jolly, sober. In the Hidden Ireland, A Guide to Irish Fairies, the leprechauns on this article are depicted as old men, usually standing about 3 feet tall, which is small, and they're intoxicated by an alcohol homebrew made from potatoes. They are self-appointed guardians of ancient treasure left by the Danes that was buried in crooks and pots. And because of this treasure, they think this is why leprechauns try to avoid human contact, because humans are said to be greedy and will take anything. And if caught by a human, the leprechaun promises great wealth to that human. This leprechaun carries 2 different coins. One is gold and one is silver. The silver one is known as a silver shilling, and this is what it looks like. And the silver shilling is a magical coin that once given to that person, once they've spent it, it will return back to their person each time. And the gold one, once it leaves the possession of the leprechaun, it disintegrates to ash or leaves. There is one rule to seeing a leprechaun, and that is that you have to keep your eyes on them at all time. If you look away, turn your back on them, they're gone, and you won't see them again. And then from the myth of the leprechaun, the term leprechaun comes from an Irish term, leith brogan, which means shoemaker. They're also known as shoemakers. And this is what a leprechaun will sort of look like. Depends on what ones you look up or see on the internet. They all have different depictions. Before this all started, I didn't have really any knowledge of the backstory on any of these. But now that I do, it's interesting in the fact that there's more to a folklore than what you normally know. I always just thought leprechauns were, only St. Patty's Day thing. But now that you know and I know more about them, I hope this interests you more into folklore of any sort.